Good afternoon. My name is Keith French, and I stand here today as counsel along with Julian Miller and Kevron McMillan for families whose children have come forward with allegations that no parent should have to hear. The families allege that on February 10th, 2026, multiple minor students at McAdams High School were removed from a restroom area, detained, searched, and assaulted one by one. They were not given a meaningful explanation and were made to believe that they had no real choice. One by one, they were forced to enter a room with a school official figure, strip off their pants and undergarments, and expose their private areas, including their genitals, and bend over and squat while school officials subjected them to degrading and deeply intrusive searches, strip searches, that not only stripped them of their clothing, but their privacies and their dignity. No contraband or weapons were found. I want to make that very clear. No contraband or weapons were found during the search. This was not a routine school search. This was not about safety. This was not about discipline. This was a perversion of trust. And now these children have to live with what happened to them for the rest of their lives. These children fear going back to school. They struggle to sleep. They have had to seek medical care, counseling, and therapy. Some have to take medication. They become withdrawn. They have become angry, and most of all, they're afraid. Meanwhile, the people who admitted to participating in these searches remained at the school for the rest of the year as if nothing had ever happened, and there were no repercussions. That raises painful questions. If these children had not spoken up, who would have protected them? And how many other children may be carrying the same shame and silence, too embarrassed, too afraid, and too wounded to tell the truth about what happened to them? These children were too embarrassed to tell the full truth because the details were too painful and humiliating. These are parents who had to sit across from their children and hear things that they should never have to hear from their kids. When we send our children to school, we give the school our trust. We do not give them dominion over our bodies. We do not give them dominion over our children's bodies. We don't surrender our children's rights. We don't submit them to unwanted touch or harm. This is not who we are. These allegations and actions do not reflect the values of this community built on faith, family, and accountability. This is why this case matters. Because when power is used against a child, silence is not patience. Silence is permission. And when the institutions responsible for protecting children minimizes harm that happened to them, allow the officials involved to remain connected to the school environment, and expect these children to simply return to class and move on, the community has a duty to answer. Not with excuses, not with whispers, not with paperwork, but with truth, accountability, and justice. As their attorney, I believe this case raises serious constitutional questions. Serious questions about school authority, supervision, training, what administrators knew, what policies were followed, and serious questions about the adults responsible for these children and whether they understood the boundaries of the power that they have. And let's be honest, the question of why adults would do such a thing and why would adults sit around and watch something like this happen. But I'm not only standing here as a lawyer, I'm standing here as a father because I know what every parent knows. When your child leaves home in the morning, a piece of your heart walks out that door with them. You trust the bus driver, you trust the teacher, you trust the cafeteria worker, you trust the custodian, you trust the school resource officer, you trust the principal, and you trust the system. And when that system fails our child and our children, it doesn't just injure the child. It injures the faith of every parent who depend on the system. Because if this can happen to one child, it can happen to another. And if the response is denial, delay, minimization, or damage control, as these defendants seem to be doing, then what they're really saying is, your child's pain is inconvenient, and the institution matters more than they do. But I reject that. and these families don't accept it, and this community should not accept it. This is why we filed this lawsuit. This lawsuit is our way of saying to these children that they deserve protection. Their dignity deserves protection. Their bodies deserve protection, and their voices should be heard. This lawsuit was never these families' first choice. They hoped those in position of authority would do the right thing. Instead, they have forced us to seek accountability through litigation and the courts. We remain ready to resolve this matter in a way that protects these children and serves the interests of justice. But until that happens, we will continue to pursue every legal remedy available. Thank you. I'd like to open the floor. We have some of the parents standing behind us and members of the community that are here to support them. I'd like to open the floor to them to say a few words. Where's Dr. Cooper? Come on up here, Dr. Cooper.
Hello to everyone. I am the mother of one of the plaintiffs, one of the minors, one of the plaintiffs involved, one of the minors, my son. And I am deeply saddened by the actions of our educators, our district, to allow such a thing to happen and violate our young men. These are our young black men. They were violated. Their Fourth Amendments were violated. Their 14th Amendment was violated. And we're here seeking justice for our children. We're seeking justice. These young men were stripped down to their genitals. It's sad. My heart bleeds. My son now is going through, he'll never be the same. Never be the same. And I'm asking the community to stand up and get with us and support our children that were violated. Thank you.
Anybody else? Come on now. Go ahead.
That was Dr. Cooper. I'm in Walter Cooper. I'm Bristol Cooper's father. And when all this happened, since this happened, I've had some sick, real bad illness happening to myself. So I know how he feels. He feels injured. He feels angry. Anything a young man, when he grows, that attacks his manhood as he's growing will never, ever leave him alone. That's gonna last him. He is not the same. He had dreads in his hair. He was happy. He was playing PS5. And now he gonna tell me, he said, I want to go get my hair cut off. He cut his hair. He wouldn't even go to the bathroom at McAdams. He run home and my wife had to go get him, call him, and for her to go pick him up and bring him home so he could go to the bathroom. He was afraid of something like that. When grown people do something like that to a child, there is no excuse on such as that. That will affect these young men, every last one of them that it happened to, not just my son, because a lot of people know in their heart you don't want that to happen to your child. You wouldn't be standing here looking like you don't care when it was your child that it happened to. But all of these boys are like my boys to me. I care for every last, and I know they all going through the same thing. They're never gonna be the same behind a sexual assault. You do something to them physically, they can get over it. You can break a bone, they can get hurt, they can go through a lot of things that children go through in puberty. But sexuality is their number one thing, because the manhood in him is the only thing that's gonna make him a man. And he ain't gonna be the man he could have been because of that happening.
Thank you. My goodness. Yes. Woo, that was good.
Thank you, Dr.